Next chapter is photosynthesis. So in photosynthesis, a plant is kept in a dark cupboard for 48 hours before conducting any experiment in photosynthesis to de-starch आना चाहिए आंसर में, और de-starch के साथ में leaves आना चाहिए आंसर में. तो पहला वाला नहीं है. क्लोरोफिल रिमूव करने के लिए मिथाइलेटेड स्पिरिट होता है. स्टार्च फ्रॉम द प्लांट है. इंश्योर नो फोटोसिंथेसिस अकर्स गलत है. इंश्योर दैट लीव्स आर फ्री फ्रॉम स्टार्च, तो डी वाला आंसर है. लीव्स आना चाहिए. ये तो डायरेक्ट है. निकोटिनामाइड एडिनाइन डाइन्यूक्लियोटाइड फॉस्फेट, दिस इज द हाइड्रोजन एक्सेप्टर इन द फोटोकेमिकल फेज ऑफ फोटोसिंथेसिस. ग्रीन लीव्स आर थिन एंड ब्रॉड. अगर ब्रॉड रहेगा दैट मीन्स देयर इज मोर सरफेस एरिया. मोर सरफेस एरिया मतलब मोर अमाउंट ऑफ सनलाइट दैट इज अब्सॉर्ब्ड. मोर अमाउंट ऑफ सनलाइट दैट इज अब्सॉर्ब्ड मतलब मोर अमाउंट ऑफ फोटोसिंथेसिस. सो दिस इज वन अडेप्टेशन टू इंक्रीज फोटोसिंथेसिस. अगर थिन रहेगा दैट मीन्स लेस डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द सेल्स. लेसर द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द सेल्स मतलब फास्टर द ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑफ सब्सटेंसेस, एंड फास्टर द ट्रांसपोर्ट ऑफ सब्सटेंसेस अगेन मतलब more the rate of photosynthesis. Both of them are adaptations to increase the rate of photosynthesis, just like other adaptations of extensive vein system for rapid transport, leaves arranged at right angles, cuticle and upper epidermis is transparent, chloroplast is concentrated in upper layers of the leaf. All of these are adaptations to increase the rate of photosynthesis. ऑर्गेनेल इज क्लोरोप्लास्ट. लास्ट ईयर ड्रॉ करने के लिए आया था. तो अगर ड्रॉ कर रहे हैं तो ये बाहर का आउटर मेम्ब्रेन, फिर ये अंदर वाला इनर मेम्ब्रेन, फिर इंडिविजुअल डिस्क इज थाइलेकॉइड. स्टैक ऑफ थाइलेकॉइड्स इज कॉल्ड ग्राना, एंड देन मल्टीपल ग्राना ड्रॉ करके यू कैन कनेक्ट इट विद द फ्रेड, एंड द फ्लूइड हियर इज कॉल्ड एज द स्ट्रोमा. STRO में इट इज द मैट्रिक्स ऑफ द क्लोरोप्लास्ट. आइडेंटिफाई के बाद नेम द प्रोसेस. तो फोटोसिंथेसिस होता है. Mention one way in which it is beneficial. तो photosynthesis से ऑक्सीजन इवॉल्व होता है. तो ऑक्सीजन is required for respiration by all living organisms. Name the phase of the process occurring in A and B. तो A जो है वो आपका स्ट्रोमा है, STROMA. स्ट्रोमा में the phase of reaction is called as biosynthetic. Biosynthetic is dark reaction, what you call, or it is light independent reaction. आपका जो B वाला है that is your ग्राना या थाइलेकॉइड, उसमें जो रिएक्शन होता है दैट इज लाइट डिपेंडेंट और फोटोकेमिकल. ओके, सो ग्राना में फोटोकेमिकल, स्ट्रोमा में बायोसिंथेटिक. केमिकल NADP का फुल फॉर्म वी ऑलरेडी सीन. व्हाट इज इट्स रोल? इट इज द हाइड्रोजन एक्सेप्टर इन द लाइट डिपेंडेंट रिएक्शन ऑफ फोटोसिंथेसिस. Okay, photosynthesis involves light reaction and dark reaction. So it involves photochemical phase and biosynthetic phase. During the reaction, the chlorophyll present where in the thylakoid or inner walls of thylakoid gets activated by absorbing light energy. This energy splits the water molecules into what? Into hydrogen and oxygen and releases 2 electrons. अगर हाइड्रोक्सिल दिया होता तो ऑक्सीजन नहीं दिया होता. The process is called what? Photolysis of water. Which ions are picked up? So hydrogen ions are picked up. The ADP is converted, and picked up by NADP to form NADPH. That is the reduced NADP. ADP is converted to ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Process को बोलते हैं photophosphorylation. During the dark phase, the compound formed at the end of the light reaction reacts with carbon dioxide to form glucose. Glucose जब starch में convert होता है तो process is called polymerization. This is a summary of the process. Okay, very commonly made error यहाँ पे. पहले destarch plant से शुरू करेगा. For destarching, you've placed it in dark room. तो उसको निकाल के you will have to place it in sunlight. तो placed in sunlight second. सनलाइट में प्लेस करने के बाद बॉइल्ड इन अल्कोहल थर्ड, फिर वॉश्ड इन वाटर फोर्थ, एंड आयोडीन एडेड 5. दैट्स द लॉजिकल सीक्वेंस. टू टेस्ट अ लीफ फॉर स्टार्च, द लीफ इज बॉइल्ड इन वाटर टू व्हाट? टू किल द सेल्स. इट इज देन बॉइल्ड इन methylated spirit टू व्हाट? टू डिसॉल्व क्लोरोफिल. इट इज देन प्लेस्ड इन वार्म वाटर टू क्लोरोफिल. Spelling mistake. CHLOROPHYLL. The leaf is placed in warm water to soften it. It is then placed in a dish and dash solution. Iodine solution is added. If starch is present, it will turn bluish black. And if starch is absent, it will turn brown. Next. Okay, what do they say in the second line? Covered with black paper. तो अगर black paper दिखेगा मतलब sunlight है. अगर KOH दिखेगा मतलब CO2 है. अगर aquatic plant दिखेगा मतलब oxygen is evolved है. अगर variegated leaf दिखेगा मतलब chlorophyll is required है. Okay, what aspect of photosynthesis was being tested? So sunlight is required for photosynthesis is being tested. Why was the plant kept in a dark room before beginning the experiment to destarch? To destarch what? But to destarch the leaves of the plant. Destarch the leaves of the plant. Boiled in water to do what? To kill the cells. Boiled in methylated spirit to do what? To dissolve chlorophyll. What is your equation? 6CO2 plus 12H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. It is a redox reaction. Water is being oxidized, carbon dioxide is being reduced. उसके बाद immediate product is glucose. Glucose gets converted to starch. Biosynthetic phase में glucose बनता है. Photochemical phase के end product में ATP होता है, NADPH होता है and oxygen होता है. Next. This shows KOH. KOH क्या करता है? तो KOH absorbs CO2. So the part of the leaf which is inside the flask, okay, this part inside the flask will not get CO2. Okay, if it does not get CO2, matlab it will not do photosynthesis. Matlab after the starch test, this part which is inside the flask will turn brown, and this part which is outside the flask will turn bluish black. What factor is being studied? It is the role of CO2 in photosynthesis. KOH का function क्या है? तो KOH absorbs carbon dioxide. What does the term photosynthesis mean? Okay, so define photosynthesis basically. The process which is occurring in which cells? Living cells of plants containing chlorophyll, by which they produce food, glucose, using carbon dioxide and water, and they release oxygen. Living cells containing chlorophyll याद रखना, ठीक है? Equation हो गया, observation भी बोला मैंने आपको. Part inside the flask will turn brown, outside will turn bluish black. What are we looking at? Variegated leaf. Variegated leaf मतलब some parts have chlorophyll, some parts do not have chlorophyll. जहाँ पे भी chlorophyll होगा, that part after the starch test will turn bluish black. जहाँ पे chlorophyll नहीं होगा, that part after the starch test will turn brown. तो ये जो बाहर वाला है, this is white. So this is the white portion. It will turn brown. And ये जो B है, that will turn bluish black. Bluish black. What is the aim? To show that chlorophyll is required for photosynthesis. Test performed starch test, solution used iodine solution. What type of leaf is used for the experiment? The variegated leaf is used for the experiment. What is the example? So you have croton. Croton के बाद you have coleus. Coleus के बाद you have geranium. बाकी का दो we've already discussed. Next. Okay. Aquatic plant है, मतलब we are showing oxygen is evolved during photosynthesis. ठीक है? जिसमें ज्यादा bubbles of oxygen है, उसमें snail है. तो the snail that is there is going to perform respiration. जब ये snail respiration करेगा, तो it is going to produce carbon dioxide. जितना ज्यादा CO2 होगा, उतना ज्यादा photosynthesis होगा, उतना ज्यादा oxygen evolve होगा. That is why you see more bubbles of oxygen here. अच्छा, if you remember your experiment to show that to draw करने वाला diagram, oxygen is evolved in photosynthesis. उसमें something similar you do. They ask you what will happen if sodium bicarbonate is added to the water. So if you add sodium bicarbonate to the water in the beaker, the rate of photosynthesis will increase. Reason क्या है? Sodium bicarbonate जो होगा वो dissociate करके CO2 बनाएगा. More the amount of CO2, more the rate of photosynthesis, more the rate of photosynthesis, more the bubbles of oxygen that is evolved. Okay? तो name the physiological process में photosynthesis explanation दे दिया है. Why does B have more oxygen bubbles बोला है? Snail respires. using O2 producing CO2. More the CO2, more the photosynthesis. Example of aquatic plant may you have hydrilla, HYDRILLA, then you have Elodia, ELODEA. Next. Okay, chemical coordination in plants. So first we should know that plant hormones are called as phytohormones. Auxin, cytokinin, gibberellin, ethylene, abscisic acid. Only gaseous, ethylene. Growth retarding, abscisic acid. Acting on internode, gibberellin. Promoting apical dominance, auxin. Overcoming apical dominance, cytokinins. Okay. यहाँ पे it is overcoming dwarfism. You see this plant is dwarf, this plant is much more taller. So it has acted on the internode and it has brought about an increase in size of the internode. So the hormone that we are looking at in this case is gibberellin. गिबेरलिन में GA आएगा फुल फॉर्म के लिए तो गिबेरलिक एसिड होगा. ऑक्सिन में IAA आएगा तो इंडोल 3 एसिटिक एसिड होगा. ठीक है. इफेक्ट इज इंटरनोड इलोंगेशन. व्हाट इज द इफेक्ट ऑफ द प्लांट हार्मोन? सो इट इज इंटरनोड इलोंगेशन. कहाँ बनता है गिबेरलिन? तो गिबेरलिन इज प्रोड्यूस्ड इन रूट टिप एंड शूट टिप. What is parthenocarpy? Parthenocarpy is formation of fruits without the process of fertilization. इसलिए these fruits end up being seedless. Formation of fruits without fertilization or development of fruits without fertilization is parthenocarpy. Why is this plant hormone used in brewing industry? So gibberellins increase the speed of melting process in brewing industry. Read your notebook. Remember how we had remembered the functions using D, Draksh, Daru, then overcoming dwarfism. Okay. Next. Tropic movement पूछा तो phototropism. Stimulus पूछा तो sunlight. Okay, tropic movement shown by root and shoot पूछा है. तो root is bending away from sunlight. तो root is negatively phototropic. When do you call something negatively phototropic? When it bends away or grows away from the stimulus. What are tropic movements? Growth movements of plant parts in response to unidirectional external stimuli. Shoot is growing where? Towards sunlight. So shoot is positively phototropic. Which is the stimulus? Stimulus बोलेगा तो light या sunlight. Which plant hormone are we looking at? Auxin. कैसे करता है ऑक्सिन ये काम? अगर यहाँ पे सनलाइट है तो ऑक्सिन accumulates on the shade side and it causes rapid cell elongation on that side, due to which the structure bends towards sunlight. जितना ज्यादा वो बेंड करेगा टुवर्ड्स सनलाइट उतना ज्यादा सनलाइट अवेलेबल होगा फॉर फोटोसिंथेसिस, तो इट इज बेनिफिशियल फॉर द प्लांट. This device is called clinostat. Again, notes में अगर आप देखोगे तो if the clinostat is rotating, then you will see no bending movements. Why no bending movements? Because all plant parts are equally exposed to force of gravity. If the clinostat is not rotating, then the root will grow down towards gravity because it is positively geotropic, and the shoot will grow up away from gravity because it is negatively geotropic. What is it used to demonstrate? So it is used to demonstrate geotropism. ठीक है. अभी assuming कि इन्होंने बोला है कि ये stationary clinostat है, तो अगर ये stationary clinostat है तो as I told you, positively, negatively, root will grow toward, shoot will grow away. And अगर ये rotating clinostat है तो parallel or no bending movement. Why no bending movement? Because all plant parts are equally exposed. हमारे notes में हमने एक rotating, non-rotating वाला दिया है, that you can check. Okay, this is the next board question. यहाँ पे इसमें the structure is exposed to two stimuli. ये seed है आपका, तो ये वाला जो part है ये radical है. Radical is going to form the root system. तो initially जब ये grow होता है तो it starts growing downwards because the radical is positively geotropic. थोड़े दिन बाद it looks for water. The closest source of water is upwards in the sawdust, so it bends and it starts growing towards the source of water. So one over here is radical and two over here is plumule. The tropic movement shown by part 1 is geotropism या फिर hydrotropism. Part 1 is affected by two stimuli. One stimulus is gravity, the other stimulus is water. Between gravity and water, the stronger stimulus is water. What do you mean by positive and negative tropic movement? If the movement of the plant part is in the direction of the stimulus, then it is positive. And if it is away from the direction of the stimulus, then it is called as negative. Okay? So these are the next two chapters.